Hey guys, welcome back to Hit Up Rugby League. Today we have another guest to interview. It is the two-time Premiership winner and the four-time Grand Finalist, Kevin Campion. How you doing, Kev?
Good, lads. How are you going?
Awesome.
Not too bad at all. So,
how's the weather in New Zealand?
Cold.
Very cold.
Nothing's changed. Whereabouts are you? Auckland? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Auckland and he's in Wellington, so
Pretty
a bit away. Yeah, so basically what we like to do before every podcast is we like to do a thing called the set of six. So I'll ask you 6 quick fire questions and you answer with what comes off the top of your head. It's a bit of a danger zone, but all right. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, Thai food, I think.
Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you travel?
I'd go to Bali, 100%.
Are you a fan of the new rules in the NRL, like the 2040, the 6 again? Are you a fan of those rules?
I'm not too much of a fan of the 6 again. Because it's up to the referee's discretion. So it can cruel, defending teams. That's for sure.
Absolutely. In your opinion, should the NRL bring back the Biff? Yes or no?
To an extent, yes. I think it's good to see a bit of a push and shove every now and again, and as long as it's one-on-one and no other player sort of enters the fray.
Who is your favourite teammate that you've had the pleasure of playing with all time?
Oh, I've got a few. My favourite players are, Alan Langer and Stacey Jones and Darren Lockyer. But I love playing with Brad Thorne. He was just a beast of a man and just had a big motor on him.
And the final question, who was your worst teammate to room with?
Oh, well, probably two. I used to room with Tony Carroll at the Broncos, and he just talked rubbish the whole time we were in the room. But Stacey Jones is a bit of a grog monster. He used to keep me up until all hours of the morning, and I had to request to be changed to get another roomie.
Sweet.
Can we get a bit of backstory on the Stacey Jones, like what he used to do?
Oh, look, I think he'd just celebrate win, lose or draw, and he just loved a beer. And I was a professional. Obviously, I was a professional captain co-captain at that stage, and we were rooming together. But he used to come home at all hours in the morning and wake me up and get me back on the drink. So I didn't really appreciate it.
Sweet as. So did you always play league growing up, and were your family supportive of that, or how did your sort of league journey start?
Oh, look, no, I didn't always play. I started off playing soccer in Serena from under 7s to under 9s. But all my mates who were playing soccer with me were playing rugby league basically straight after our soccer match. So they would, and the soccer fields in Mackay were on one side of the road, and the rugby league fields were on the other side of the road. So they would basically finish their soccer game and go over and play rugby league. So, Mum sort of didn't really, she was a bit hesitant to let me play, but I just had to follow the mates, and I loved it from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it on your early career, you obviously started your career off at the Gold Coast Seagulls with the great Wally Lewis as your coach. Who were your role models in that side, like who you looked up to as a younger player?
In that particular side, we had some great players in that side. We had the likes of Peter Gill, who I was a fan of. He played in the Brisbane League before going to St George. Steve Jackson, Dale Shearer, Ray Herring was probably a big influence on the younger brigade. He was, one thing, he gave up his time for us all the time. and another thing he did was basically show us how to be a very good trainer and not cut corners and showed us what it was like to or how it was like to make it to the top grade.
Absolutely. I didn't really want to bring it up, but you obviously went down in the 1996 Grand Final to Manly. How was the feeling in the sheds after that game with the boys?
Oh, look, it was obviously disappointing. That was their third Grand Final loss in the space of, basically 4 years. So I had that was my only year at the St. George Dragons. So I just thought, how good was this? It was great to be a part of. So celebrations, it was fantastic. Look, I know we lost the Grand Final, but it was basically a miracle to even make that Grand Final. We had to win basically 11 out of our last 12 games to scrape in, and we did that. And then we got on a bit of a roll and got through to the Grand Final. So yeah, it was. I think we surprised everyone, and we certainly surprised ourselves.
Yeah. So obviously moving to the Broncos, you played under super coach Wayne Bennett. We hear a lot about him in the media and stuff like that. But what was he actually like to be coached by?
Oh, look, Wayne just kept things really simple. Everyone knew their job in their role in the team, and I think that was his strength. Basically, we were like a well-oiled machine. We just kept things really simple. We didn't overplay our hand at all during the 3 years I was there, and we come away from with 2 premierships. So. Yeah, look, rugby league's a really simple game, and Wayne sees it that way. It's not about I guess the structures that are in place today. It's about the coaching the person and making them being a better person and player.
For sure. It's a bit of a reverse on my last question, but you were able to win a grand final in 1998 with the Broncos. How was that feeling, and how was it able to get a try in the final?
Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah, look, just to make another grand final, a lot of players don't make grand finals, so I played the 96 grand final. I thought that might have been my only opportunity. Wasn't to be, and fortunately enough, I played in a few more as well. But that 98 grand final was special. We had an unbelievable side. I came off the bench that day, and I knew my role in the side. And look, and I just played for the team, and to get that try was very special.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned it before, but when you were at the Broncos, you won two grand finals in 3 seasons. How special was that to be a part of a team like that?
Yeah, look, we had our ups and downs at the Broncos in that period, But I look back and I think I only played 80 games for the Broncos, but I think I worked it out the other day. We won 60 of those 80 games, so which is pretty good. And winning 2 premierships was unbelievable. I think we were minor premiers in 98 and minor premiers in 90 and 2000. So they were special years. But the 99 season was a great year as well. I think we had 1 win and a draw in our first 10 games. But to Wayne's credit, he sort of rallied the boys together, and we won. I think 12 out of our last, maybe 11 out of our last 12 games to scrape into the finals. So we didn't want to be the first Broncos team to miss out on the finals in 20 odd years. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and obviously we hear about like the halfbacks. The great halfbacks, the Langers, the Johns, we'll go Jones as well. What was Langer like to play with? Because we hear a lot about him. What was he like as a player?
Oh, he was unbelievable. He was a very good leader, and he led by his actions. Like he was, he didn't mind getting himself dirty and tackling the biggest man on the field. and he didn't mind giving you a spray if you're doing things wrong. So, look, I certainly looked up to him, and I wanted, he made me a better player when I was playing with him. So, and he was, all you had to do was just sniff around Alfie, and something was always going to happen. So I just, I wasn't that dumb as a player. So I knew exactly where I needed to be, and that was around Alf. And I think in that first year I scored 7 tries, and it was probably, I doubled the amount of tries that I scored in the previous 5 years of my career.
Yeah.
There's been some great players over recent history like Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, but obviously it's a different era from when you played. How do you think those players would have gone in your era?
Oh, look, I think they would have handled it very well. They're quality players, but it wasn't as structured back in our era, where today's game is very structured, and every team sort of plays a similar game, but look, Alf was, I could put Stacey in this category, and Andrew Johns, I guess. They could see things on the field that other players couldn't, and they could make things happen on the field that other players couldn't. So, which was a great plus for those types of players.
Yeah.
Just keeping it on that topic. So the game is very different compared to when you played to compared to now. Do you like the game, how it's changed, or do you think we should change it back to how it used to be?
Oh, look, there's certain skills that you don't see in the game today, which is a lot of players can't catch and pass, and a lot of players can't draw and pass. So they're so just big and athletic these days. They just get the ball, and if they can catch it, and they'll run hard. So yeah, there's little skills that that we grew up with, and we hone those skills early in our junior careers that they just don't teach today in the junior system, which is really sad. They're more about what I've seen with the junior system is about the coach, more about winning instead of actually coaching the players the skills of rugby league. And a lot of those coaches don't know how to coach the skills of rugby league, because a lot of those coaches probably haven't played the game. But they're putting their time in and they're volunteering to coach because no one else will, which is sad in itself.
Yeah. So talking about like immense talent and good junior systems, you brought a winning mentality to that Warriors side when you came over in 2002, winning the minor premiership and making the grand final. Were you shocked at the immense talent that Warriors side had when you joined?
Oh, no, I wasn't shocked, but I knew from day one that we had some really good players in that side. We just had to what's the word? Just to just bring them down to to play simple footy instead of the razzle dazzle all the time. And it was just it wasn't controlled footy. It was uncontrolled footy all the time. So we just had to simplify a lot of things, and we really had to work on our discipline, our self-discipline and our team discipline. Being able to run into a forward back and not think about offloading the ball every time you did that. And that's what a lot of players were doing. So we just had to, simplify our game, and that's when we played at our best.
Yeah. I don't know if I should mention this, but in the 2002 grand final, I've heard a lot about the halftime video clip or whatever was shown. What was that? Like, what actually happened there, and how did the players react?
Oh, look, it was, I really don't really want to talk about it because you've all heard the story. So it was just one of those things that, which it's a disappointing thing that sort of happened on a grand final day, because the disappointing thing is that, there was players in that side that had never played in a grand final, and they'd played 12 years to make the pinnacle of everyone's career. playing in a grand final. And, what happened on that particular day was just didn't need to happen. So it was just one of those things.
Yeah, just trying to cheer up that topic a bit. I heard that you gave a good inspirational speech, and a lot of players or coaches don't really know how to give those, especially at times like that in a grand final. Do you have advice to anyone on how to give like a talk like that, like just any inspirational speech?
Well, you've got to know what's happening on the field, and what was happening on that field in that first half was, uncharacteristic to what actually got us to the grand final. We were a hardened Bronco-like side, and if all we had to do was just grind and stay with the Roosters, and I'm sure we would have come over the top of them in the end. But we in that first half we were doing things that didn't get it that were things that didn't get us to the grand final. We weren't playing the hardened Warriors style of football that got us there, and grand finals can do that to you, and they because they go very, very quick, and you can ask any player on that field on that particular day that they probably can't remember that first half because it went so quick. But everything you do in that first half sets you up in the second half, and we were trying to offload and we were making mistakes and just it wasn't the way that we should have been playing. All we had to do was just grind and grind and grind, and I'm sure we would have come over the top of them. And in that second 20-minute period of the second half, I think that's where the Roosters wanted it more than us, and unfortunately they got over the top of us.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you knew this, but you're only one of 5 NRL players ever to play 3 different clubs in a grand final. It's obviously a remarkable achievement. What do you put that down to?
Luck, I guess. Look, it's just making decisions for yourself, to better your career. I guess I could have stayed at the Gold Coast instead of joining St. George and never had that opportunity to play in a grand final. So it was just, you could say that's luck or fate. I don't know. But look, things turned out for the best for me, and that sort of that 96 year sort of put me in good stead for a good rugby league career. I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to play at the Broncos and made the most of it. To be a part of that 98 side, you had the likes of Alan Langer and Kevy Walters, but you also had Steve Renouf, Darren Smith, Wendell Saylor, Darren Lockyer, Michael Hancock and Michael DeVere. You also had in the forward pack, you had probably one of the great forward packs of any era, Andrew G, Shane Webke, Brad Thorne, Gordon Tallis, and Tony Carroll. So that's a really good forward pack. So, yeah, look, for me to play on that side was just, fantastic.
Yeah. So one thing with the Warriors that a lot of people say is that there needs to be a blend between the Kiwis, the Polynesians, and the Aussies. What are your thoughts on the Warriors having more Aussies in the team? Like, that's always been a thing when I've grown up, that we need more Aussies in the team. Do you think that affects it at all, or what's your opinion on that?
Oh, no, it's just good to have, some good quality experience from other clubs. That 2002 side, we had a really good blend, but we all got on, where there was no dickheads in the side, to tell you the truth, which was very uncommon. So, and we really got on. And when we got on a roll and started winning, we felt, we were invincible. So, and there's nothing like that feeling, knowing that you could put, the way we were playing, we could put 50 on any team in the competition. That 2002 side, I likened it to that great side of the that 98 season. You know, we had Clinton Turby, who was our Steve Renouf. We had Ali Lartiti, who was our Gordon Tallis. We had Arwen Guttenbiel, who was our Brad Thorne. You know, we had Jerry Siusiu, who was our Shane Webke. You know what I mean? So it was just we had Alan Langer and Stacey Jones, who was our Alan Langer. We had, you know, PJ Marsh was just outstanding, had an outstanding season that year. And look, I could name, and we had, you know, Ivan Cleary, who was so good at the back there, you know, and so safe and so skillful, and like a Darren Lockyer. So we were, and then you look at then we had Francis Melly, who was our Wendell Saylor. You know, it's just a great side, you know, and it still disappoints me that we lost that grand final.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the Warriors have to do to get back to like another grand final? Do you think they've got the team to do it?
Look, yeah, I think they've got the team to do it. It's just they just need to keep things a lot simple on the field. And, you know, our playmakers, our halves and our hookers, you know, really need to know what the team needs at any particular time in any particular minute of a game. So, you know, there could have been times against the Cowboys that you know there was obviously game changes in that time that you know, our halves overplayed. There could have been a length of the field intercept. It went to ground, which was great, but little things like that, you know, just keeping things really simple and knowing what's best for the team at any particular time in the game.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot about your club footy. I think we should take it over to your representative football. You played 6 games for Queensland. How did you find out that you were in the team that week, and how was it running out for the first time?
Oh, it was special. Look, I got a call from Wayne who rang me personally and told me I was in the side, which, you know, look, it was a dream of mine to play Origin football from day one. You know, and I thought I may have debuted a bit earlier than what I did. You know, in my sort of mid-20s, I thought, but you know, the opportunity didn't come, and I thought the time had passed. But yeah, look, to get that call to represent your state was something special, and to play my first game at Lang Park and to win it was even more special. You know, the hallowed turf of Lang Park was somewhere where I watched. I grew up watching the Brisbane League and watched, you know, a lot of grand finals there. Supported Winner Manly, and it was really special. And I think the King, Wally Lewis, presented me with my first jersey, which was a nice gesture.
Sounds amazing. People say that one of the like, how do you phrase this? Like, biggest honours in rugby league is to represent your country, and you were able to do that in 2000 for Ireland. Where does that rank on your career accolades?
Oh, look, it was great. Look, I had the opportunity to play for Ireland, and it was great. Look, we flew over there for 6 weeks. We spent some time in Spain, you know, pre-competition, and to get to know everyone. And we had some wonderful players in that side. Our captain was Terry O'Connor. You know, we had Barry McDermott. We had you know, players like Tommy Martin, and we had a good mix of Aussies as well. You know, I played with Dave Barnhill at St George, so Barney was playing. Luke Ricketson, who represented Australia as well, to name a few. So look, we had a Brian Carney, who was a you know, a full Irishman who played in Ireland and got the opportunity to play in the Super League as well. Look, we made the most of it. We made the quarterfinals. It was the first Irish team that had made the quarterfinals, and we're up against England, which was like a state of origin atmosphere, and I loved it. It was it was really special. There was a lot of hatred that was built up in our camp for the English, and you know, we took that sort of hatred into that quarter final. Unfortunately, we missed. We didn't get the chocolates, but we did Ireland proud that day.
Definitely.
Yeah. So many recognise you as one of the game's all-time toughest players. Is that something you're really proud of, as being one of the most hard-working players of all time?
Oh, look, I don't think I was all-time toughest players. There's a lot of tougher players than me, and you know, and some of the, like, you look at the players in different eras prior to the 90s and 2000s. You know, there was some tough players there. So, look, it's something that people comment occasionally, but look, I was a battler, and everything I did was for the team.
Now, at the end of the career, you had the opportunity to go do some coaching for the Warriors. How did you find the difference between coaching and playing? Because there must have been some bit of a big difference. There we go.
Yeah, it was difficult. Look, I found the transition difficult. I was coaching players that, you know, 3 years prior that I was playing with, so it was difficult. So I found it, and I had high standards, and a lot of the young kids at the Warriors at that particular time, just, you know, they just didn't want to work hard. Some did, some didn't. So it was really frustrating.
Yeah, and I recently found out that you're an ambassador for the Warriors. How does something like that come about, and you enjoying it?
I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great to be back involved with the club. I've been to every home game that they've played up here in Redcliffe on the Sunshine Coast, and I went to the game at Seabus Stadium against the Titans as well. So, look, I'm really proud of the boys, how they're playing at the moment. They've won 3 on the trot. Really difficult game on the weekend against the Cowboys that they, you know, could have easily thrown their hands in the air and give up, but they didn't. They toiled away and made the most of their opportunities, and we got away with a field goal, which was, I wish I had video footage of the celebrations after Shawnee Johnson kicked that field goal, where we were watching the game, because it was mayhem. Honestly, it was so good, and I really loved it.
And how do you feel about that, Connor? Like, how was that game with the Warriors, Connor?
I'm a Cowboys fan, so we'll move on. Robbed. Who are some players on the Warriors this year who have really impressed you?
I think Aiden Finnell-Blake is a quality front row. I think Matt Lodge you know, he's leading from the front, which is great to see. I think, you know, we're a different side when Sean Johnson's in the side. He's just got to, you know, temper his game down to suit our game. I think Reece Walsh is an unbelievable player. You know, he's just so quick, and he goes too fast for a lot of the other players, and they just can't keep up with him. And I think, you know, as soon as, and I think it'll come with maturity and a bit of experience, that, you know, he'll know when to sort of slow himself down to the game's speed, and then speed, speed up to create things at will. But I think he's a wonderful player. I think Ewan Aiken has been outstanding. Jazz Tavea I think he is. He's a difference. He plays for us. I think he's a wonderful player. He's just so tough, you know, which is great. Look, they're all playing well. I just, you know, they just need to simplify more so in their own heads and their own games, just to, you know, make sure they're just doing the simple things right, and you know, you sort of can't go wrong if you're not thinking about offloading all the time, and you're just thinking about playing the ball at speed for the team, you're doing your job.
Yeah. So today the Warriors have released a remake of their 02 jersey, which is the fans are loving it at the moment. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on it, and would you like to see more teams do it in the near future?
Yeah, I think it's really special that they're doing that. I think it's been 20 years since the 2002. So I think it's a nice gesture by the club to do that. And I'm sure other teams would be doing that type of thing. I don't think it's a one-off by the Warriors, but yeah, I know the Roosters, celebrating 20-year Premiership this weekend for the game. So yeah, it's just it should have been us celebrating that 20-year bloody Premiership, but anyway, it wasn't to be.
Yeah, for sure. I just have two more questions. Sorry to cut you off there, Liam.
No,
good.
Obviously, the Warriors are coming home in June. How are the boys feeling about that?
Yeah, they're excited. I think it's going to be a special occasion. I think the support that we have over here in Australia, and just going to be unbelievable. And I think the place will be rocking. They'll be hanging from the rafters to be able to get into and see that game. So it's going to be a really special game. It's going to be a very emotional game. And I just hope we can contain that emotion and get a good win.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it got announced that the Kiwis are playing Tonga over here. I think it's a week or two before. Do you think that kind of ruins the Warriors' homecoming, kind of ruins the celebration?
Where are they playing it? Over in New Zealand, or are they over in Australia?
New Zealand, Mount Smart.
Especially Mount Smart and Auckland, they've been starved of rugby league. So I think that's a great thing that they're doing that. And it'll give the involved an opportunity to see what supporters, what is going to be like, especially the Warriors boys who are involved in those sides. We'll see what it's like with the crowds that turn up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you boys have any more questions?
No, I'm good, bro.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin, for your time. It's been an honour talking to you, and we've had some great chats, and yeah, really appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
My pleasure, boys. Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.